take time out to focus on you. Don't take on any task that don't belong to you. It's a perfect day to make a change. Gotta put the brakes on anything that get in your way. No time to second guess. You gotta put your trust in God and walk by faith. It's time to change your life. Know what you want and apply. Go far beyond than just try. Goodbye to yesterday. Today is the day to claim your destiny. Just clap your hands if you understand. Just clap your hands if you understand.
Wanda is considered one of the most passionate and positive people you'll ever meet, both personally and professionally. Her inspirational mentoring, sales, and customer service training has dubbed her to be Wanda D, the Motivational Queen. She launched Wanda D TV, a revolutionary online real estate talk show where local businesses and community leaders discuss their services, issues, and concerns. Wanda is passionate about helping people achieve their goals and dreams. She has gone on to pursue many passions, including her I Am Enough talk show, having a seat on the West Georgia Board of Realtors, author of inspirational and motivational books, and also a strong supporter of several nonprofit organizations within her community. Wanda believes that there's no such thing as bad decisions, only regrets of not making the right attempt. For speaking engagements or to book her for your next event or conference, please visit www.IamEnough365.com.
Go through with PTSD also, I'm ex-military, but I learned how to turn it into microphone techniques. So I'm gonna freestyle and then I'm gonna tell y'all a little something, because Wanda D told me to freestyle. Say, I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. Hard with the drums. I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I come from the boogie down, south side of town. MCs like me, we come incredible. See, I've been spending so much time in my head. Grab the microphone. Did you hear what I just said? I got skills, rocking on the mic. I pay bills all the time. Rapping on the beat with the rhyme. I'm coming off the top of my mind. I do this all the time. This is how I rhyme. I am enough.
I am enough.
King it, I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. Times right now totally rough. Every time I'm dealing with this stuff, I grab the microphone and I don't bluff. And when I hold the microphone, I'm like the bluff. Sit back and watch the crowd rock. I grab the microphone non-stop. Blast the microphone is, I got a bonus to grab this mic and do just what I like. Too much hesitation, I had to take the time. Sit back, relax, so I can unwind. Messing with my mind. Now I gotta come out here and show this one time that I could unwind. Say a little stuff that was on my mind. And this is how we do. Are y'all with me? I'm with you too. Say, I am enough.
I am enough.
Say, I am enough.
I am enough.
Come on, times are tough and you know it's rough, but say, I am enough.
I am enough.
Say, I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. I'm from the Bronx, baby. Alright.
In the 8C.
It's me, Wanda D, the Motivational Queen, your accountability coach, helping you get her done. And we gotta say, give it up for MC Class. Yes, I am enough. That song always get me pumped up. As y'all can see, I'm in a different location, but we gonna roll with it, rock with it. So come on in. Welcome to the room. Thank you, kings and queens, for showing up. I see you showing out in the chat. Let me just give some special shout outs to my peoples that's been showing up. Hey, Tracy Bumpers, what's going on, y'all? Y'all know y'all want some on point photographs. That's the person that you need to see. Okay, he will definitely change your life one photo at a time. Hey, Yvette, thanks for coming through. Thank you, Arthur Jewel. Lynette Jewel for being in the building. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank y'all guys for liking, inviting, and sharing. Yes, I am enough. Hashtag I am enough. Hashtag wake up winning. Let everybody know that you're tuned in right now to the I Am Enough talk show where your dreams matter. And y'all know what? Okay, so this is what we decided to do, right? At the beginning of February, we said that we were going to do every day we were going to celebrate Black History Month in a special way by bringing you special people that are out here making a difference in the community at large, but especially, through this principle of education and talking about what you've been through. So then hopefully what you go through, other people can avoid or at least know how to better themselves. Okay. So I'm excited because we have just had some extremely powerful guests join us on this platform for these 21 days, this day 22, and it's just been blessing me, and I know it's been blessing you. So just shout out to all of the people that have joined us thus far, and we're looking forward to continuing this process. And you know how we do it on the I Am Enough talk show. We always want to bring you positive information, good information that you can use. And so today wouldn't be like, would just be like any other day, right? Exactly. So first, before we get started, I just want to let you know about some things that we have going on coming up here. We have our World Women's Conference and Awards that will be presenting you on I'm trying to find a banner, on March the 5th and 6th. Now, World Women's Conference and Awards is a global organization, and right here in Atlanta, what we're doing is we're going to present you with this conference. This conference is loaded, packed with just great people showing you how to win, showing you in different areas of business like branding and marketing, how to communicate, be a more effective communicator. Also, we have a gentleman that's going to be teaching you on real estate and on how to buy real estate to build wealth. What are some good options for you, and as well as Yvonne. She teaches nonprofits on how to get financing, like Financing Your Next Billion is a book that she just recently put out. So all of these people will be joining us on March the 5th, but also on March the 6th, we're going to have this expo. So if you are a marketer, you might be a entrepreneur, or artist, you have products, services, come and be a part of our digital expo. Here you can get on with us and showcase your products and services to the world. People are able to ask you questions. We also have private breakout rooms for you, as well as you presenting to everyone that shows up and comes through our event. This is March the 5th and 6th, the Unleashing the Power conference, virtual conference. So please, please, please make sure that you come through and check us out there. And also, we just finished our book up, Wake Up Winning No Matter What, because losing is not an option. And if you have not received a copy of that book, please visit our website so you can get a copy of that book. You can go to Wake Up Winning Volume 2.com, VOL2.com, and check out all of the authors and purchase a book by any of the authors. And we would love for you to just help us spread the word on getting this journey completed. And that is just helping each other win, helping each other remain positive during any crisis, but especially like now, because you got a lot of people that's going through a lot of things, mental illness, isolation, just a lot of things are happening, and we have to just do our level best to make sure that we're making a difference. And that's what brings me to this gentleman, this king right here, that's going to be coming before you today. I was introduced to him by my bestie, and it's her cousin. And she was like, you got to talk to my cousin. He has a really, really great story. So then as I started doing my homework, I was like, wow, this is very, very powerful. And I'm talking about the one and only Bennie Lee. And I am just blown away. This conversation that we're about to dive into, of course, we're talking about Black History Month and the power of being Black and what that actually means. But this story goes so much deeper. And, I know that right now you all are just going to get a snapshot of all the things that this king has going on and just how he's really positioned himself to help other people gain a better position in life. And I'm talking about Bennie Lee. He's a former death row inmate and Chicago gang leader. He's the most sought after international trainer and consultant, having presence throughout the United States, Israel, and West Africa. He has received numerous awards for his outstanding work, including the Professional of the Year Award from the state of Illinois, the Alcohol and Other Drug Abuse Professional Certificate Association, a Project Safe Neighborhood Award from the United States Department of Justice, and a National American Honors Recovery Award from the Johnson Institute for his work in providing innovative services to gang affiliates, individuals in the criminal justice system. Mr. Lee received his associate degree in mental health and substance abuse at Kennedy King College in Chicago. He received both his bachelor's and his master's degree at Northeastern Illinois University, where he is now a adjunct professor in the Justice Studies Department. He is currently the founder and the CEO of the National Alliance for Empowerment of the Informally Incarcerated. That's NAEFI. He's a clinical certified trauma professional as well as a Kindle nonviolence trainer. So put your hands together and welcome the king, Mr. Bennie Lee. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ring y'all bells, y'all. I got a king in the house. The king is here. So, Bennie Lee, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, first I want to just say welcome and thank you for joining us today. This is our Black History Month celebration, day 22. And I just, read a little bit about you on your bio, but I want to step out the way and let you further tell people more about yourself and just this path, this journey that you're on. And then we're going to dive into our discussion for today.
Well, I started off kind of a bumpy road, making a culture shift from my family value system into a street culture value system, and then a gang culture value system. I ended up in a juvenile prison when I was 15. I came out, I was 17. And I ended up in prison when I was 19. I didn't come home until I was 27. In the last 3 years of that bit, I was facing the death penalty as a result of a rebellion that happened in Pontiac Prison here in Illinois, where some guards got killed. And what they did is they indicted me and 16 other high-ranking members of different street organizations, and we were each charged with 15 counts of murder, 2 attempt murder, and mob action, one of the largest death penalty cases in the country. But I was able, through God's grace, come from up under that. But then I wasn't prepared to come back to society as 27, to function as a 27-year-old. And I ended up back in prison maybe 4 months later, and I did 3 more calendars down there. I think that's when my turnaround took place, when I saw a lot of younger guys coming in, 18, 19. And these were the sons of the girls I went to grammar school with. And they would call home and tell their mothers they met me. Then their mothers would call me to the phone and ask me to look out for their babies. So I started feeling a sense of responsibility to my community. And so I started challenging them little brothers to don't serve the time in this prison, but make the time serve you by enrolling in school if you didn't have a GED or a high school diploma, or if you had one, to take up a trade. And that's when we found that there was only 80 slots for people to go to school in a prison of over 2,000 inmates. So we tried to challenge the administration. They wouldn't budge. So I decided to tell every brother that was part of the street organization that I was leading at that time, the vice lords, that we wasn't going to mop a floor, work in the kitchen, let the officers do this work. And other gang leaders joined in, and we boycotted our labor. And so as a result of that, we got in front of the administration, explained to them the same conditions we first was faced with up in our communities, living in marginalized communities, socially disorganized communities, with limited opportunity for education and employment. That's what led us to prison. And now here we are in a prison with over 2,000 inmates, and there's only a slot for 80 people to go. They need to expand it. And it was like 110 jobs down there. So we faced with the same condition in prison that we first in the community. And so we live in prison ill prepared to function in society. And that's what caused us to recidivate. So that's what my journey began. And I ended up coming out of the system November 15th, 1984. So now I've been out 36 years. And coming out, the struggle was trying to get a Social Security card for the very first time ever in my life at 32. Never had a driving license, never worked. So I had to rebuild myself. I had to get a Social Security card, try to cross that line from being an outlaw to become a citizen. And it's hard being a citizen because citizens obey the law. And I've been breaking the law all my life. And so I ended up in a GED class. That was a struggle, 32, trying to learn how to do fractions and multiplications, and a bunch of kids in there, 18, 19, calling me pops, laughing at the questions I'm asking. I refrained from hitting one of them little miles in the eye, but I wanted to humble myself because I needed to get the GED. And then work a minimum wage jobs, building my way up. And the rest is history, getting my GED, then my associates, then my bachelor's, and now doing what I do today.
Absolutely. You said a lot of things, and one thing I want to touch about is being unprepared. Because like you said, once you got released, you just wasn't prepared because they don't prepare you. So let's talk about that and how you're helping prepare people now in the work that you do now.
Well, one, with my organization, NAFI, we have not mentors, but we call them reentry coaches. And a reentry coach is a male or a female that's been in the system themselves, but they've been out over 5 years and stable in their own lives. And we have what we call reentry circles. It's a support group where newly released people can come and talk about what some of the barriers they face with, what they're struggling with. And we don't give them advice. We share our personal experience, how we broke through that issue. For example, if it's a female that's got her children caught up in the system because they was caught up in the system, she's been gone. We have women reentry coaches can share with them how they got their children back. If it's a brother that's struggling, say trying to get CDL or whatever, we got brothers that got those and share their experience, how they got it. And the reentry coach is trained to recognize, say, some psychological blocking agents they may experience. For example, you sit a brother down on the computer to pull down some company's website so he can job search, and he got inferiorities about himself because he don't have computer skills. And normally they'll sabotage the man, this ain't working for me. But that reentry coach is trained to recognize that and just jump right in and say, man, you kind of remind me of me. I had this struggle too, but this is what I learned. Check this here out. And before you realize it, you pulling that brother into a training opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Realize it. And you giving them confidence, let them know you're there. The same way with looking at the application. Reading comprehension is poor, can't respond to the questions on the application, want to give up. And we jump right in. So let's look at this, how this go here. And next you know, the person is learning. But we do it in a non-threatening way because we recognize, because even myself, when they gave me a piece of paper to put a resume together, the only thing I could put on there was my name because I never worked, never completed school. So brothers had to normalize what I was going through. Hey, we went through that too, and brought me to a new awareness. So they have changed my belief system because I believe no one would hire me because of my background. But them brothers helped me change my belief system and believe that if they can do it, I can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I found interesting when I was like listening to your story and when I was watching your TED talk about how you said like when your family, you found yourself in a different neighborhood, y'all had moved into this, predominantly white neighborhood, but then you couldn't go to, they were shunning you, didn't want you to go to the pool, and you didn't start a gang. What you did was you was pretty much just getting some other friends to say, you know what, we going to that pool. And then that turned into this label of you must be a gang because you took the initiative of the unfairness of not letting you go cool off in the summertime. So, can you speak to us about how we often get under these labels just unknowingly, or we have no idea, we're just trying to do the right thing and then it end up being the wrong thing?
Right. If Franz Fanon, he wrote "Wretches of the Earth." And he talk about when you get a group of people that are being oppressed, and you got an oppressor, and what happened? The oppressed try all means of fighting back, but their means of
Mhm.
fighting are ineffective, even through the court systems, you know, however, lobbying or whatever. And then what happens? The oppressor constantly attacking the blacks, whatever. And what happens when the same resources that the oppressed, meaning the blacks that move into that system, are fighting for, when the oppressor move out the picture, then the oppressed start oppressing each other. That will lead to black on black crime, because we first was fighting whites for housing, fighting whites to go to the pool, go to the school, and then when they moved out, we start fighting each other over those resources and stuff.
Mhm.
In my case, yeah, brothers followed me, as we broke through the barriers, going to the school, going to the shows. And then in 1968, we was the largest group of blacks to graduate out of 8th grade and went to this all-white high school. And so when we got there, Martin Luther King had just got assassinated. We ran into a lot of racial tension. And as a result, me defending myself, uh, me and my crew, we all got suspended, but they said I was the ringleader, and I'm the only one ended up in juvenile court. And that's how I ended
Mhm.
up in a juvenile prison, really just defending myself.
Mhm.
Being in that situation, it kind of like made me really look at systems, look at what do racism look like, which some people mistaken it for being prejudiced. A person can be part of a race, right, and don't have to be racist, all right? A person can be racist, but don't have the power to practice racism.
Right.
Racism, you must have some power,
Exactly.
control something that'll be fit that benefit your race and exclude the other race. A lot of blacks don't realize that.
Yeah. I often say that we don't have enough power to be, racism. Like we can't, it's not institutionalized on our end. But now that we're in this Black History Month celebration, can you just tell us, what does Black History Month mean to you? What has it or do you have any thoughts about it?
Well, there's a, a African term, and Dick was similar, called Sankofa. Go back and fetch what you lost. And
Mhm.
person in this country should know that when we came over here with an African mind. They didn't bring slaves over here. They brought Africans over here that knew agriculture, architecture, science. That's who they brought over here. And when we got here, they erased our African mind and gave us a European mind. That's how
Mhm.
they make the slave. They take away your language, they took away your culture. So Black history, what it means to me is to Senko, go back and fetch what I lost. Right, to realize that I'm part of a group of people that built the very first brick building in the world, right? In Hotel built the very first step pyramid. He's the first person known to study medicine. Timbuktu, the first university ever in the world, even the Greek went to study from. So
Mhm.
it gave me a sense of pride, because the average black child, if they're in an environment with other ethnic groups and those ethnic groups talking about their culture and history, that black child will be lost and feel inferior because they can't say who they are, right? Like the Irish boy, he tell you his name and let you know he Irish and connect him with a country called Ireland and give him custom, tradition, or history, but that give him essence as to who they are, right? The average black child can't connect themselves that I come from the motherland, commit. But the name was changed because a European explorer named Africanus conquered it, and now it's called Africa. If he don't understand that, it's saying that if you're ashamed of the root of the tree, you can't love the fruit it bears.
Ooh, you better say that.
So if you're ashamed of that era of slavery, what our ancestors went through, then that shame live in you. You got to look at, we accomplished a whole lot during that era. So they had vision that one day it's gonna get better. That's why
Mhm.
abolition was born out of that. Then coming out of that, then going into the Jim Crow era. We just didn't lay down. We were fighting all the way. I mean, we come from some strong people. When they brought the Africans over here, you got over 125 million bones of our ancestors at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. but only the strongest of the strongest, the best of the best survived and landed here. And we the direct descendants of one of those strong people that landed here. That's who we are. We innately know how to persevere. Now, we
Mm-hmm.
don't commit suicide during hard times. We find a way out. This is why a lot of our ways of taking care of ourselves when we were barred from certain traditional things, we created policy. You know, the numbers rack, and that's called a lottery. We created that, man. We created a whole lot of things to survive, but those creations initially they made them illegal, and then that's how they criminalized us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We
Absolutely.
ways of persevering, man. Even when black women, you know, are the first teachers of the child, right? I mean, it was
Mm-hmm.
a woman taught me how to wipe my butt, how to hold a fork and feed me, how to blow my nose. Because women are the first teacher of a child, right? But then when that same black woman can share how you raise a black child, she's shunned. But then they force a European way of developing a child on us. And you find that that's called institutionalized racism. You know,
Mm-hmm.
certified drug abuse counselor. I had to learn about the theories of Gestalt and Rogers and Maslow and Erickson and all these people, Piaget, with European that they research is based on white male middle class alcoholics. But how was that preparing me to counsel an African American inner city alcoholic or addict? So I had to go outside the traditional school setting and learn Dr. Naim Akbar, Chain Images of Psychological Slavery, Chancellor Williams, Destruction of Black Civilization, Dr. Amos Wilson, right? Black on Black violence, to get an understanding of our psychology,
Mm-hmm.
prepare me to deal with our people. So when I quote one of them in that school setting, they don't respect our black scholars, right? I get a failing grade. And that's how Black History Month came about. Dr. Carter G. Woodson was a historian.
Right.
He realized he learned everybody's history but his own. So
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, University of Chicago, and realized they didn't teach it. So he dedicated his life to come out every week with a pamphlet educating blacks about their history. And then it moved into an organization called the Life and Times of Negro History, right? And then they decided to make it a holiday. And they chose February because they look at the two forces. Abraham Lincoln signed Emancipation, and
Mm-hmm.
President Douglas was the driving force to force him to do that. They both birthdays were in February, so it became initially Negro History Week,
Mm-hmm.
grew into Negro History Month. And then when we became black people in 1960, when Tom Michael said black power, we became black folks, all right, History Month. And then
Mm-hmm.
80s, it became African American Heritage Month as they recognize it today. And some of us still call it Black History Month, but now it's labeled African American Heritage Month.
Right, right. Well, thank you for that walk through time, because it's very necessary, and so far everybody's basically saying the same thing, to like remember where we came from in order to know where we're going, and to just stand up on our greatness of that we are. Who has been your most influential person in your life?
Well, I have to say Malcolm X. I was put in segregation after that stunt I pulled in the penitentiary, demanding that they open up the school and stuff. And when they threw me in seg, Malcolm X autobiography was on the bunk, and I'd heard of Malcolm, but I didn't know too much about him, so I just threw the book in the corner. After being in that cell for maybe 3 months, out of boredom, I grabbed that book, turned right to the page where Malcolm X was frustrated because he couldn't comprehend what he was reading, and he put that text down and he studied the dictionary from A to Z. And that inspired me to do the same when I was in segregation. I did it. And then it inspired me to read other readings that he quoted, right? Like Plan the Planet by Don Lee, now named Hakeem Matabudu, who wrote Black Men Obsolete and Dangerous, So when I came out of segregation, I was a whole different person. I was thinking different. And when I came out, I challenged my own mob and said, look, we need to uh, set up something where these young guys don't go through what we've been through. We done spent all our 20s behind the wall. I would hate to see this generation do the same thing. And them guys still wanted to support them young guys. And I stood up against it. I said, look, I'm finna detach from this. I can't represent something I don't honor anymore. And that's when I broke away from the mob, right? And coming out and just studying Malcolm X, all his tapes, all what he wrote, that had a great influence on me. And it made me start looking at my own drug addiction that I had. I was a heroin addict. I didn't look at it like I had just a drug addiction. I look at heroin was a weapon against our people. And it's through those teachings with Malcolm X. You know, he made that quote: if you live in a poor neighborhood, you're gonna go to a poor school. You go to a poor school, you're gonna get a poor education. You get a poor education that enables you to work a poor paying job, and that poor paying job enable you to live in a poor community. And the cycle continues generation after generation. So I still study him. I still listen to his tapes, look at the interviews he's done. So he's been a great influence on still today, because he left a lot for us to learn from, and I still study him. And
Absolutely.
his living is Dr. Naeem Akbar. That's my hero. He's still living, Dr. Naeem Akbar. He's the author of Changing Images of Psychological Slavery. He got another one he called The Community of Self, to learn the community within, you know, your conscious, your memory, your drive, your ego, you know. So Dr. Naeem Akbar, he's my living person that I study.
Absolutely. I love it. What do you have coming up? I know this, I have your banner here for your organization, National Alliance for the Empowerment of the Formerly Incarcerated. And you said that you all basically become like mentors to our people that's making breaking free of being incarcerated, helping them out, doing a lot of counseling. So, what, if anything, do you need for your organization? Or tell us about some of the things that you all have going on right now that you'd like to share with us.
Well, since the pandemic, we're not face to face with this, what we do inside the office. So everything is pretty much done on Zoom, except for certain things, you know, with some individuals that might need our attention as to how to get a state ID during this time, or birth certificate, little stuff like that. That's one-on-one stuff. But what we do every week on Saturdays is 10 o'clock our time, Central Time, 11 o'clock your time, Eastern Time. We have a Zoom reentry circle, and people like yourself are invited to come on and share, you know, to that community what you offer. You know, we bring speakers on, like we just did a training on the police consent decree, how the police had to reform themselves here in Chicago. We did a training around that. We done trainings around know your rights, because a lot of
Hmm.
people know how to know their rights and stuff. But the circle is open for anyone to join that's got a concern about brothers and sisters returning back to the community from prison or jail, or struggling marketing themselves. Uh,
Hmm.
from the incarcerated and convicted people, because people would simply say, well, all they got to do is get a job. Well, you try going on an interview and they say they do background checks, and they frown on people that's got a conviction, and you'll see it just ain't that easy. But they
Hmm.
prepare a person that has a conviction, right? Because that's a traumatic moment. You in an interview, they might like you, they might like your skills, but they frown on convicted felons, and then they do a background check and find out you won. So we train them how to meet that head on, to educate that employer the benefit of them hiring, because in Illinois, a company can get a tax break if they hire convicted felons. Convicted
Hmm.
felons qualify for a fidelity bond, mean they're insured. If they break something or steal something, the company won't take a loss. All those incentives, we train people to educate that potential employer so they can feel a little easy hiring them. You know,
Hmm.
so like the hospitals normally don't hire convicted felons, but if they get a medical disability waiver, a hospital will hire them. A certificate
Hmm.
of conduct with the governor's signature on it, stating they recognize them in good standards with the state. A lot of this information, uh, families don't have, former incarcerated people don't have. Some of them still believe here in Illinois they can't vote. But in Illinois, the only restriction we have on us, we can't vote while we're serving time in prison. And our county jail is not a state facility; it's a county facility. So you can vote while you're in the county jail. You can
Hmm.
parole while you're on probation. You even have parole agents telling guys they will get violated if they register to vote. So we train parole agents on the laws that they can vote. These are
Hmm.
centers. So we go out, we train other agencies. How do you, it could be more empowering working with the formerly incarcerated convicted people if you don't understand the difference between the judicial system and the criminal justice system, or the penal system, you know. So we do a lot of education around that, because that's our main focus, is how do we educate. Like Martin Luther King, you got the 6 steps of nonviolence. First step is do your research, get all your facts together. Then once get your facts together. Then your second step is educate, raise awareness, so you can raise your opponent's awareness to a new awareness. You have your facts together, then educate. Then the third step is be committed to follow the issue through. Fourth step is to sit down and negotiate and change policies and all those kind of things. If negotiation fail, you go to the fifth step. That's take direct action to bring attention to the issue. Then you go back to the negotiation thing. And we kind of follow those steps too in what we do.
I love it. And that is so, that's what we need. I think as we out here, in the trenches helping people, we have to be bringing them the right resources because if you don't know, you don't know. And that's part of why people keep going back or just don't get the help that they need because they don't know. So on if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you?
Well, they can either call me on my phone, 773 or email me. My first initial B, my last name Lee, Lee. That's B Lee dot NAEFI at gmail.com.
Okay, great. And you said that that circle that y'all do, that's every Saturday?
Yeah, that's every Saturday. Once they email us or either text me or whatever, I can send them the link. I can give it now, but I don't know if people remember. But
Yeah, they could get in touch with you, and then what I'll do is I'll get it and then have it for a resource because I definitely want to put you down as a contact resource to help our people, understand what their rights are because I think that's very necessary. And like you said, like your own personal experience of that being an intimidation for you, and now it's not. Now you've overcome that and you helping other people do the same, and I really really appreciate you for the work that you do because you are definitely you're definitely above board and need to be recognized as the great king you are. And tell them about now, just switching gears, and I know we're running a little bit over, but you also you're really sharp, and I saw your hat, and I mentioned your hat, so let people know what else you have going on over there in Chi Town.
a lot of times during Kwanzaa season and Black History Month, that's when Black people put on African attire. But after those holidays, they put it in the closet and then they get their European attire. So what I do is I make kufis like this. This one here has a leather top to it. I also make women hat out of this is mud cloth. I even make women hats, different styles of mud cloth, flip up, all that kind of stuff. And then I can make a woman purse that match the mud cloth out of mud cloth for the purse, trim with leather. Might put some cowrie shells on it. A door, you might have a hat with the scarf that matches, something like that. Or if you want a long vest or a jacket, that's what I do uh, as a hobby. And then it's therapy for me. Where I,
Okay.
where I need to get a piece of mind, I can get to sewing and get lost. And it's like therapy to me.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Benny, for I have really, really appreciated your time here. I want to definitely be able to invite you back to our show, where you can give us some more insight and just keep us informed on what's going on, what we need to know, the things. There's just so much that you have that you're giving us. And I just love that you are a part of our Black History Month celebration. So I just say thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Well, everybody, if you have enjoyed this discussion with Benny Lee, then please drop a one down in the comment. Drop a one down in the comment. And I just want to give a shout out to all of you. Thank you for hanging, for participating. Thanks for the beautiful comments. Yvette says powerful story. Keisha said great information. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa just dropped that one down. And this is what we do when we figure out that we have people all around us that can help us out in any area, whether it's as Benny is serving hard for the ones that have been incarcerated and just giving them the tools because like he said, he was unprepared. So he doesn't want our people to just stay being unprepared. This what he's doing is very, very powerful. I have a son that went to prison, and he came out, and he's not right still, and I could just be really, really transparent there with he suffers from a lot like PSD, and just a lot of stuff be going on through him emotionally. So I already know that Benny is somebody that I would trust to talk and help him overcome some of these things. So then it will benefit everybody, because when we're healthy, then everybody around us gets blessed because of our condition. So truly, 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 I have enjoyed this conversation. It's heartfelt to me, and I know that I'm not the only one. So if you all will just help me with spreading this word, get people in front of him that need to be. You can look him up. He has a lot of content and on YouTube. Go watch some of his TED Talks, follow his organization, and send him an email, so then you can, even if you have something that you want to share that will benefit that circle that they do on Saturday, please get in touch with them. This is how we win. This is how our people change lives, because we win. When we win, the people around us win. And when you have the winning information, it's up to us to share it. So I appreciate you all for taking your time out today. I appreciate you for liking this content, for sharing it. I appreciate you in the most highest way ever possible. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today on day 22 of Black History Month. This is the I Am Enough talk show, where your dreams matter. And I want to play you this video once again, and then I want you to always go out and be the best that you can be, because you deserve the best life possible, right? Right.
You gotta take time out to focus on you. Don't take on any tasks that don't belong to you. It's a perfect day to make a change. Gotta put the brakes on anything that get in your way. No time to second guess. You gotta put your trust in God and walk by faith. It's time to change your life. Know what you want and apply. Go far beyond than just try. Goodbye to yesterday. Today is the day to claim your destiny. Just clap your hands if you understand. Just clap your hands if you understand.
Hey y'all, it's me, Wanda D, the Motivational Queen, your accountability coach, helping you get it done. What is it that you need to get done? I can help you get on the media and make more money. Get that exposure you're looking for. So come see me. Check me out, all social media, under Wanda D Hollis, yes, my government name. And you can also follow my website at IamEnough365.com. That's me, Wanda D, the Motivational Queen, and I look forward to seeing you soon.